Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Entertainment Group presents the Madness Comic Network with original programming and additional comic-related content.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 9th and 10th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline Comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish, they're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kalberg, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday nights as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Well, hello, everybody. Our host tonight, John, is having a little bit of technical difficulties. He's trying to get in here, so I guess I'm going to jumpstart the show for him. My name is Barb Kalberg, and I am the creator of Divinity. I also do inking and coloring for Silverline. Rob?
Hi, I'm Rob, the venerable artist, as they call me around here. I'm the artist on Silverline's Twilight Grin. We blipped there for a second, didn't we?
We did.
But and on a secret project coming up from them, as well as many other projects over the years, starting back in the 1980s. So been at this for a while, as has Barb.
Mm-hmm.
So, and here we
35 years.
Here we are. We're still here. Yeah.
I know. Plugging along.
Can't put
Tonight's
good people down here.
Tonight's subject matter is an interesting one. It's about talking about media adaptations of comics and books, mostly featuring comics. And boy, ones that have gone wrong, bad media interpretations. And there is a slug of bad.
We could do multiple shows on this particular subject. Yes.
Oh my God, yes. And Pops, if you're out there, please feel free to pop in and
Yeah. Put your 2 cents in. It's
yes.
always worth at least a nickel.
Oh yes. and what you said there, we had a blip. That reminds me of one of the most irritating things that I found in the Endgame movie, the Avengers.
Yeah.
When everybody gets dusted.
Yeah.
Now I've seen people talk about being dusted or being snapped. They called it the blip. What a stupid name for an event like that, where half the universe gets dusted, and in the
I could
movie
see
they call
calling
it
it the
the
snap.
blip.
I could
Yeah.
see calling it the snap because Thanos snaps his finger, and then everyone. But it's the dusting. It is a much better and more
Yeah,
descriptive
everybody got
name for
dusted.
that.
Why
Yeah,
would you call
I mean,
something
which is
stupid?
it? Yeah, and it's also an old phrase anyway. We dusted him. In the
Yeah.
old westerns. Yeah, we dusted him. Put him in the
Yeah,
dust.
I've been dead for
Oh,
5 years. I got blipped. Stupid
Blip.
word for it. Yep, I got blipped.
Yeah, well, that's what is that? Isn't that what they called it in the movie itself? That was in universe.
Yeah, that's what they called it
the
in the
blip.
movie.
I couldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the blip.
I thankfully had forgotten they called it that in the movie.
Fairly
But yeah,
good movie, but the
yeah,
stupidest name
that's
for a horrific event.
yeah, the snap is what I would have called it in movie because that's what happened. He snapped his fingers. But
Yeah,
okay.
and everybody got dusted.
Yeah, but this here's Hollywood. Yeah, there's always something
Yeah,
weird
well,
going
they
on
don't
there.
half the time they don't know their no, never
Well,
mind. I better not go there.
can't find their posterior with both hands.
That's right. You put it much more delicately than I would have put it, but yes.
Yeah, can't find their derriere with their digits.
Yes. Hollyweird. Hollyweird can't
Okay.
find yes.
So
So
yeah, give us a couple of years, Barb. As we were talking before we came on the air, and we were tossing a couple of them back and forth, and you had several good ones there. So
every single Fantastic Four movie ever made sucks. I don't know why they cannot do it right. I mean, they've tried it over and over and over again.
well,
and they just
there's always
cannot.
one element they miss. Somehow they at least one element of the story that they get
I mean,
wrong,
even
and
when you
it
have,
all has to come together. It all has to weave tightly, and they can't seem to pull that off.
I mean, even in the movies where they have like Iron Man or Thor or Avengers, where they have 2 or 3 movies, at least one of them's going to be a dud, but there's always at least 1 or 2 good ones in the trilogies.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four can't hit any of them.
No, I really I thought that when was that? One of the early full budget Fantastic Four movies. I can't remember the year it was made, but it's the one with Chickless as the Thing. And
Yes,
yeah,
and that had
the weakest part in that was
Jessica
probably
Alba
his
as
costume. Yes.
yeah,
That's it.
Jessica
That's the one
Alba was the Invisible Woman. The guy that played Hornblower, what was his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He was also in a TV show. He played an immortal for like one
Yes,
season,
he played.
which an excellent show. I don't know why it got canceled, but
He
yeah.
played Reed Richards, and then
Yep. Chris
Captain
Evans
America.
played
Chris Evans.
Chris
Yeah.
Evans. Chris Evans played the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, and
And then he morphed into Captain America.
after he did that, everyone said, well, they're going to cast him as Captain America, and I'm going, he's an actor. He could probably pull that off because I thought he was great as Johnny Storm.
He did okay. I did
yeah,
as Johnny Storm. I thought the
parts
whole
of the
movie kind of.
well,
I
the
could
only
not
thing I think they
see.
got right was the bickering. The bickering that they did. When you go back and
Yeah,
read the early Fantastic Four issues, they bickered constantly. They were
I'm
all
trying.
on each other constantly. And then toward the end, the only ones who remained bickering most of the time was Johnny and Ben at each other. But they got that part right too. But there were
Ian
other parts
Grufford.
that, yeah, not so
Is
good.
that the way you say his name? It's spelled Ioan. Ian. Is that how you spell that or pronounce his name? Ian Grufford played Mr.
Probably.
Fantastic. And he was too young for the role. I mean, he's this young kid, and they have painted white stripes on his
Yeah,
hair, and
and
it
then
just
when they
didn't work.
rebooted it, they made them all too young. I mean,
Yeah,
they were trying to do Ultimate Fantastic Four, which I thought number one, I thought that was a mistake, and number two, then I mean, I have nothing against changing the race of characters, but making Johnny Storm an African American kind of was. I
I would
I
have
didn't care for
preferred to
that
have
particular
seen.
change.
I would have preferred to seen either of the other two because Johnny and Sue are siblings. And yeah, you can have a
Yeah,
sibling that's, a foster or adopted or whatever like that.
right.
But it made more sense to me to have the Thing or Mr. Fantastic be the different race.
Mr. Fantastic as a black man would have been really
Oh, I
interesting, I
think
think.
so.
I think that would have been an interesting twist on it. But as Johnny Storm, it just didn't work. It didn't. I didn't even watch the movie because I heard stuff about it. Plus, I'm going that they're making all kinds of weird changes to it that it's just going to make it bad. So
Making
I
Reed
didn't even go
Richards,
watch it.
who is
I
supposed
don't
to
even
actually be
remember
the
who played
smartest
him.
man in the MCU, making him uh, a person of race would a different race would have been really actually very fascinating. I think that would have been a good
I think
choice.
so too. I think so too. I think it would have made for a really interesting, and much more interesting than the movie turned out to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you know, we got what we got.
Yes.
And the one with Galactus in it, that was pretty bad too. The second Fantastic Four film with
I don't think I even
Chris
watched the
Evans.
last one. I
Yeah,
I
it
gave
was.
up on it.
The special effects on the Surfer were pretty good. The effects on Galactus were horrible. Uh, it, they he was just kind of, it was a cloud. He was V'ger from Star Trek the
Oh,
motion picture.
Jesus.
That's all he was. He was just
V'ger.
V'ger from that
I
giant
am
cloud.
V'ger.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Throw out one of your ideas.
Okay. Well, I'm going way back. I'm going back to the days of the Incredible Hulk on TV. On TV, I thought the actual
With Bill
Incredible Hulk
Bixby?
with Bill Bixby.
Okay.
I thought that show was good. I thought it was great. It was not the comic book Hulk, but it was a simulation or you take the idea of the
Pre-CGI.
Hulk.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
pre-CGI, it was about as close as you could get.
yeah, and the stories that they investigated and the kind of storytelling that they did, I thought that worked. But they tried a couple of spin-offs from it that were just horrible. They tried doing Thor, and it was essentially some crazy Norse guy in furs with a hammer, and it
Oh, I
was
saw pictures of
ridiculous.
that. Yeah, it was
You
awful.
remember? Yeah, yeah. Anybody out there remember that? I mean, I'm old and venerable here, but I remember that, and I'm going, that's not Thor. And then they also did they tried to
And like
do
a plastic helmet on his head or something.
yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, we were
Cheesy.
talking about low tech, low budget. I mean, the Hulk was pretty low budget. I think they spent most of their money on the green makeup that
Paint.
they put on Lou Ferrigno. But I mean, but the stories were good. The stories were good, and they were well told. and they had the whole fugitive vibe where he's on the run because they think he killed somebody. That was all. I liked all that part of it. But and then they also tried to do Daredevil, a spin-off of Daredevil, and the costume was ridiculous, completely ridiculous. Even low tech. It had this huge thing that he had all the way across his face, and it was just horrible. So those are two really bad attempts at comic book characters. There's John.
He's here.
Did you come in by phone?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. My system now wants to do all kinds of like weird updates and reinstalls, and I know that goes into like a reinstall loop. So I'm like, I'm going on the phone.
You'll be in there for
Works
hours.
fine.
Yeah.
Cool,
So have you been following along at all?
No, because I had everything going on the one. What wound up happening is when y'all had the issue with the echo, I had done something to disable access to the microphone, but it said through the browser. No matter what browser I go back into, it won't let me back in.
Yeah,
and I toggled every setting I could find.
Yeah, your little microphone had the cross through it, so.
And it said go up to the top bar and turn it off from there, and I did in Edge and Firefox and Chrome. I was about to install Netscape Navigator, for God's sake. You know?
And then I got on Messenger and said, just get on your smartphone.
So Barb, thanks for starting it up, and Rob, sorry I'm late, my friend.
Oh,
That's all right.
we've covered so far.
For a while.
Yeah, we've covered so far is every single Fantastic Four movie. And then he's talking about the 2 spin-offs from the Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk TV show.
Yes, the Thor and the Daredevil.
Yeah, okay, so he knows.
Yep, I remember very well. I remember like having to like video record these things because I'd have to watch them at a later date. And, you know, for what they were back then, they still were kind of bad.
Yeah.
Given the time and everything, they still sucked.
Yeah,
those two did. Now, the Incredible Hulk, like I said, I thought that was actually pretty good.
The TV show?
It wasn't the comic book, you know, but it was different. I thought it was a good interpretation of it.
It was pre-CGI, so they had having them go with Lou was the next best thing to CGI. So that was fairly
I thought he looked great. I mean,
I thought it worked. It worked for the time.
Yes.
It would not work now. I mean, She-Hulk, I don't know. I've only seen little bits and pieces of She-Hulk, but the CGI on her isn't horrible. It seemed a little Shrekish, if you know what I mean. It looked animated rather than a real human being. But so I think the Hulk could be done better today, at least visually. But I thought the stories were good, and I thought the concept was good. That worked. But the spin-offs they tried with Thor and Daredevil, OMG, those were just bad.
I mean, Daredevil wore a pitch black black mask, and it looked like he was in a fencing contest.
Yeah, it was like that thick. And
it was literally like a fencing gear that spray painted and call it a day. You know. What's up, Tommy? How you doing, buddy?
Flora Monty, fly by.
But no, I definitely do remember those two. Now that you're bringing that up, I'm going to make some people very upset, probably. One that always gets on the proverbial, 4-letter word list, but I got a kick out of David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. I love it, Barb.
Okay. Different strokes for different folks, because
the comedic value behind it won me over. It's kind of like a Hudson Hawk to me, It's like I'm not loving this because it's the greatest film of all time. I love it for what it is.
I have this muted because I hear kids in the background that are drawing a bath, so I'm going to mute this and just make faces for a bit.
Sounds good. But yeah, so that one, at least that one amused me. So that was good. I own the DVD.
Yeah.
Like, I actually bought the DVD for it when it was a Best Buy exclusive. So that meant something to me.
What, $5?
I don't even remember. I don't think I opened. I think it's still shrink wrapped and sealed, just in case it ever became a collector's album. How do y'all? Love your costume, John. I missed the rest of it, but ha 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 ha. Yeah, I'm going as guy who just got a haircut this weekend. Is well overdue. So, okay. So I don't remember anything of it other than the promotional pieces that went out for it. But do any of you remember when it was Fox that had Generation Next?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it, but it is on my list of
I have not seen that at all.
top 40 worst comics. Some of these I don't agree with.
Comics or the movies or adaptations?
Adaptation.
Adaptations.
Top
I
40
remember
worst movie adaptations. I don't
that
agree
one
with some
as
of these, but I did see that one on the list.
where did that come in at?
Generation Next, did you say?
Yeah. Or Generation X?
Generation X. Keep talking about it. I'll find it.
Okay, cool. So, that one was another one of those, oh my God, I need to videotape this because I'll never be able to see it again. And I've heard it's not good, but it had Finola Hughes in it. And if anybody was ever a General Hospital fan, Finola Hughes was one of the main characters. She was Anna Devane.
I was a Duel fan.
Okay, so yeah, it had her, and she's an amazing actress, and I love that. And she was playing White Queen. I remember that.
You're just prejudiced because you like the girl.
Well, you didn't say that when I said about Hasselhoff.
She doesn't like the Nick Fury thing with Hasselhoff. So
I didn't like it. I thought it was horrid.
Even David Hasselhoff didn't do it for her, man.
It amused me.
Okay, that's okay.
If we're going to go back to the 70s, one of the things that really disappointed me in the newest Spider-Man film, and I'm not talking the animated Across the Spider-Verse ones, but where they brought back Tobey and they brought back Garfield.
I have not seen that yet. I want to see it.
It was great.
Yet,
it was a good movie. It was really, really a good movie.
Yeah,
what really hurt my feelings was I really wanted to see a cameo of Nicholas Hammond from the 1970s CBS Spider-Man adaptation. There was no Nicholas Hammond. So, hey, Nicholas, if you're watching this, come join us some night. Send me a note. We'd love to have you on.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's one I thought was horrible.
Again,
so much I'd forgotten it existed.
Again, for its time, yes, the webs were obviously ropes. It was white rope, but the costume looked good.
That was the only good part. The rest of it was just horrible.
They did what they could. Well, I'll get you to a Spider-Man one that was really bad in a second. Well, not really bad, but just really different. I thought it looked good. They were able to do what they could, and kind of a la the Incredible Hulk from the time. I liked it. I thought he looked the part. I thought everybody else played the parts extremely well. And the first couple episodes of it were actually mashed together in a release. And I think it was France. They actually got it as a movie release.
Yeah. I think the first 2 or 3 episodes were actually pretty good. But it went downhill real quick.
The pilots, because they always have the budget for the pilots.
Yeah, they went for the campy aspect of it after that, and it went downhill.
I was probably 6 at the time, so that also clouds judgment. So if somebody's looking at it from a 6, I know you guys are older than me, so I'm looking at it from a 6-year-old point of view. You guys are looking at it from an 8-year-old point of view. So those 2 years make a lot of difference. So
8,
Tommy, I have to agree with you.
Try 22.
Yeah,
I've been kind.
I have to agree with Tommy on this one. Hellboy was originally written with Ron Perlman in mind.
Yeah.
So he did the first 2. And I thought they were awesome.
Yeah.
I thought the newest one was okay, but it really missed.
Yeah, Perlman was pitch perfect.
Well,
he got the tongue in cheek kind of aspect of it, but
I mean,
but
Mike,
also the serious part of it. Yeah,
yeah,
very
Mike
well
wrote
done.
it with him in mind. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was tailor made for him.
Yeah, it's perfect for him. It was pitch perfect.
Did they change any? I have not watched the third one myself. So did they change anything because it wasn't going to be Ron? Did they take it in a completely new direction to try to make it a reboot, or did they actually try to carry it out like a third part of a trilogy?
No, it was kind of like it wasn't a reboot, but it was took it in a different. They didn't reference the previous movies at all.
Okay.
Kind of almost a soft reboot.
Yeah, it sounds like, yeah.
Okay.
Kelsey Grammer is the Beast. I thought he did okay.
Too old.
Agreed.
Too old.
Okay, can we just touch on the elephant in the room here?
Which
Howard
one?
the Duck.
I loved it.
on.
Loved it. Loved it.
No.
Loved it. I mean, okay, so again, I'm younger, and the minute like Howard the Duck is laying in the bathtub and he pulls out an issue of Play Duck, I was on the floor. I'm like, this thing's hilarious.
That's camp.
Yes, and I liked it for the campiness that it was, and Leah Thompson.
It's basically a paper mache head on a guy. Come on.
Oh, but see, that was one of those things. I loved it for what it was and how bad it was, and that kind of I love A films, but I love some B films, and that was definitely like a B- film. But it had parts of it that just cracked me up.
I would say a C- film, but okay.
But no, Howard the Duck definitely is one of them that is going to be ruined some careers, that ruined like some movie plans, but not enough that they
ruined the character for a long time.
But they also did bring him back in Guardians of the Galaxy, so that was kind of.
They brought him back in Endgame too. If you had to know ahead of time and look very, very close. But when everybody's coming through the big circles, the magical circles at the very end, he was there.
I didn't see that. Okay, I just remember like the wasn't it a post-credit scene in one of them where he was like sitting in the lab?
He's in the collection. He's in the collector's collection.
Yeah. I thought it was a post-credit scene of that. Yes,
it was a post-credit scene. Yep. And I think when the collector's ship got destroyed, I think they even showed him escaping, showed Howard the Duck escaping, if I remember right. I forget which movie that was in, probably Endgame.
When everyone when everybody and their dog, or in this case Duck, came through the circles, he was there to fight.
Oh, interesting.
But you would have to stop freeze frame to find him.
Yeah, and to do Howard the Duck today, it would have to be a little. The comic book itself was satire of the foibles of everyday life, the weird stuff going on in the real world. He was an outside observer seeing all this and going and being the cynic about it all. So it would have to be something like that in order for it to work for me. For it to be real Howard the Duck, he would have to be that kind of character again. I don't know if they could pull that off today.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can't do these days.
Yeah, and I don't think they'd be able to pull that off. I mean, I would love to see them try. And
with DC being so PC, I don't think that they'd be able to do him justice these days. No. Okay. All right, Barb, do you want to throw out? Hey, Vic, dang, you're late. Don't worry, I was too.
Yeah,
even though I was supposed to be here on time. So,
Jonah Hex.
Life intervened.
I haven't seen it.
That was back in the early 2000s, maybe 2010, maybe, with Josh Brolin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
It
was.
Back in 1 second.
Very mediocre.
I thought it was. I thought it would be something that they'd be able to pull off pretty well, but I haven't. I've only seen bits and pieces of it when I was in a hotel room, and it came up as I was scanning through the channels, and I came across it. So I watched a scene
Let's put it
between
this
commercials.
way.
And it
He
was-
phoned it in.
Yeah,
I don't think he
it's-
really wanted to do it, so he just kind of
sometimes they do it for the money. They
Yeah.
offered him enough money, and he said yes.
he
you
pretty
know,
much phoned it
that-
in and just drifted through the movie half-heartedly.
And then
So-
you need more than that especially for that kind of film. But I thought, as a Western, they should be able to pull that off. But so.
How about you, Rob? You have another one, don't you?
Well, we talked about Spider-Man. I do have another one. How about Judge Dredd?
Which one?
All of them.
With Arnold?
No, it's
It was
Stallone.
Sly Stone. It was
That's right.
Stallone
It was
as
Sylvester
Judge
Stallone.
Dredd.
That's yeah.
I
I'm sorry.
am the law.
I should know that because I actually worked on the comic.
I am the law. Yeah, the way that he said it. So I want to say this first, just in case anybody else jumps in and says, yeah, me too, because I've heard I'm not the only one. I still, to this day, have problems remembering and keeping things straight from Stallone with Judge Dredd and Stallone from, Demolition Man.
Rocky.
Demolition Man.
Yeah.
So the two of them were
It's
similar
essentially
time.
the same character, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. The first Dredd movie, not so great. Had early Sandra Bullock, that one had Sandra Bullock, which was awesome. That's nice. I love the fact that every restaurant was a Taco Bell. Because they were the ones who won the fast food wars. Although, little known fact to a lot of people, for international audiences, those were all changed to Pizza Hut because that was a better known brand and it was all underneath the same conglomerate. I think it might have been Yum Foods.
I think
What's
with PepsiCo. So yeah, it's the same company.
His helmet should never have come off. And yes, I know you have this famous face. You want to show it off. We have that problem with every comic book
Spider-Man's
movie.
mask was always getting torn off in those movies, so they could show the actor's face. I'm going.
Same thing with Captain America. Yep.
Yeah.
Although
you can still see enough of him that I think it worked. But yeah.
But how about the second the Dredd movie, just Dredd with Carl Urban?
I've seen scenes from that, and it looked okay.
It was bad ass. It was good.
I thought he was. I had never seen him.
Oh, I remember that one. Before. Yeah.
And I saw bits and pieces of it. I went, "That's a B movie." Definitely, it was very low budget, and from what I saw,
if anything, comic wise, I'd put that one a B plus if we're going to put it in the B category. That one was great, huge following. Carl Urban still wants to do it. He wants to do a sequel. I would love to see a sequel. He refused to take the helmet off because it goes against the character.
Yeah.
And that man could play anything. Yeah, he is fantastic. So he was a great
I love him in everything. Everything he does is great.
Dr. McCoy, he was my wife when we went to see the movie, the Star Trek movie with him as Dr. McCoy. She goes, he's channeling DeForest Kelly. He was channeling the original Dr. McCoy.
And he did a fantastic
Thor.
Man,
and he could look completely different.
Yeah, the Executioner.
In Thor.
They never called him that, but that was the Executioner because of and you could tell, those of us comic fans, you could tell by his haircut that it was the Executioner. He had that.
It took me a minute to recognize him and go, oh my God.
Yeah,
like he was
good in that as well. So yes.
Vic wants to know what we think about the Spawn movie. I will tell you two things, Vic. I've not watched it since I saw it in the theater back in the day when I was in college. However, I do own the box set deluxe edition Laserdisc for Spawn, as well as the regular release Laserdisc for Spawn. And maybe one of these decades I'll watch it again. But I didn't have any really pull to do that over the preceding 30 years.
I have not seen it, and
I haven't either.
I'm not a Spawn fan, so I have no desire to see it.
To listen to Todd himself doesn't seem to be a big fan of it. So, because he wants to do it right, he says.
So it actually might be.
What is Laserdisc? Oh, I will be right back, my friend Vic. Hold on.
Oh my!
Vic is still an embryo. He's a fetus.
What's a laser disc? It's a they were 12-inch discs that you put into a machine, and they were read with a laser beam, just like a DVD is. Only a DVD is only this big, but a laser disc was big. It was very high resolution DVD like discs that you could watch.
But what, album size?
They were album size. They were big.
Holy
they were like 12
cow.
inches. I sold video equipment for about 6 months. Never again. But at least not for that company. Thankfully, they're out of business. They screwed me over, so I quit. It was an early version of burning images on a disc using lasers. Yeah, there's a laser disc.
That's what she said. Yep, it is massive. So, Vic, this is my Japanese import Laserdisc. Laserdiscs were it's an analog format, although some of them can have digital sound. It was a precursor to DVD. Right. It was much more ingrained overseas than it was here. Basically, the best way to describe a Laserdisc is to go ahead and
show them what it looks
basically
like.
Picture a DVD that's double-sided, the size of a vinyl record.
12-inch, yeah.
This is one Laserdisc. This is one of the Spawn Laserdiscs. And I don't know if you'd be able to read it, but here it says side 4. So each side holds about 30 minutes.
Came in 2 discs, yeah.
Yeah, and so like this one, so it has side 1, side 2, side 3,
very
side
high
4.
resolution for the time.
It was the best thing you could get at the time.
I don't know if you've heard about audiophiles, people who used to buy really high-end hi-fi equipment to play albums with. Those are called videophiles.
Yep.
Videophiles used laser.
You look like a hobbit holding a DVD.
Yeah.
But these are things that we never really get to see here. Look at this one. Darkness. And then disc 2, violence.
Oh my God.
And finally, if we have darkness and violence, what are we going to have?
Sex?
Justice.
And then
it's worth a shot.
And then, they always have like some cool packaging stuff in there. So yeah, that's one of the Laserdisc collections. Big, very big in Japan, somewhat in China, but Japan was like the major place that a lot of the stuff was getting.
Yeah, and the format was good around the world. Unlike like videotapes, there were at least 2 different types. There was PAL and NTSC.
Well, we have the same problem with Laserdiscs too, because the PAL and
DVDs
and NTSC, 2 different things. NTSC and PAL those deal with the number of lines, horizontal and vertical, on the screen.
Correct.
So, and there's a third one too called CCAM. And
which
so
I was not aware of, but
that one's more Southeast Asia, but US and Japan are both NTSC. Most of the other world is
Europe is PAL. But it's the scanning of the TV screen.
And then when we got to DVD, that's when they were able to put in region protections, which is above and beyond. However, I will also tell you, if y'all go ahead and get a Blu-ray player or DVD player that is set up to play multiple regions, most TVs these days, if not all of them, will be able to play anything if it was either PAL or NTSC, because it's able to change the resolution, because it's really just a monitor these days.
It's digitized, and then they can the computer can fill in the missing pixels. So but that's what Laserdiscs are, Vic.
Back on track, boys.
Yes, ma'am.
Little lesson for Vic. Sorry.
Red Sonja.
Oh,
Haven't seen it.
I didn't even know there was one. So
Yeah,
that really
I actually like the Conan movies. I mean,
Brigitte Nielsen.
Yeah.
Brigitte Nielsen.
I am
yeah,
cold.
Brigitte Nielsen was
I am
with
cold
Red
down.
Sonja, and she had her own movie that was a spin-off from the Conan movies. I liked Arnold as Conan, even with the accent, because I mean I liked the movies.
accent kind of fit really, because it's, if you know anything about Hyperborea, Samaria is actually a northern cold area, and so that,
and I mean,
the Nordic
you can't
accent
deny
good fit.
You cannot deny that he had the muscles for it. I mean, but
Definitely,
but
he
Red
looked the
Sonja,
part.
she had this mullet cut. That was not Red Sonja. Red Sonja she just didn't fit the part, and the movie was just plain bad.
Red Sonja would basically, I'm picturing like the first covers of her solo issues. The best way I'd say I could describe her to somebody who's not comic knowledgeable, picture Mary Jane Watson with a little bit wavier hair in a chainmetal bikini and a sword. That's what she should look like.
That's what she should have looked. Yep.
And that wasn't Brigitte Nielsen.
No, she was like a giantess she did not look like Red Sonja should have. All right, Tommy has a good one.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, Tommy. It looked pretty, but it just didn't work. Yeah, the Green Lantern did not work.
Green Lantern gave us one of the best lines in Deadpool, though, when he was getting wheeled away, and he's like, "Just make sure that the suit isn't green." And animated. I mean, that was just awesome that he took a swipe at that. We saw Green Lantern in the drive-in, which was, I think, probably the last time I was in the drive-in. And at the very end with Parallax and the battle, my little one at the time, he's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom." So I even missed the ending of the bad movie because my little one had to, go to the washroom. So, things dads do, right? I don't think I missed much. So Kilowog looked pretty good, if I remember right, though.
Actually, Tommy, I did like Nick Cage's Ghost Rider, even though it's on this list of the 40 worst
I heard
adaptations.
it was pretty good, actually. Yeah,
I
haven't seen it either. And Nick Cage was a fan of Ghost Rider, so
and comics in general.
So he was trying to be true to it. I think the movie probably needed a little bit bigger budget, or probably a better script. That's what usually happens, is they forget that you got to tell a story. You're not just doing pretty pictures or, flexing muscles and doing weird stuff. You're actually trying to tell a story, which is why Wonder Woman worked. One of the few DC movies that worked, Wonder Woman, because they told a story.
And I'm pretty sure,
beginning, middle, and an end.
And see, that's why I was trying to go there. I think Tommy threw in Ghost Rider because of me. So when we launched Wednesday Wham, we were talking about a lot of stuff, and my hatred for Nick Cage became very well known. I hate Nick Cage to the point where I sent Tommy a Christmas gift, and it was like 6 months late, but it was a box of Nick Cage movies, each one individually sealed in an envelope. And I told him what month he had to open up each one, and each one tied to a specific event in that month.
So like
there was like one called The Runner. I picked him up for like $1, right? It was like The Runner, and then there was like, a National Running Day in whatever month. So he got that one for that month, and and so he got like a whole big box of DVDs. And the reason it took so long is my OCD and my ADD and all that stuff kicked in, and I actually put together like a 2-hour video, and it feels like the old, ABC Saturday Night at the Movies with commercials from the time where I was like ripping apart different Nick Cage things, from Spirits of Vengeance when he's riding with the ghost one. I heard like the music beginning to play, and I'm like, that sounds like Tiffany. I Think We're Alone Now. So I did audio editing over it, Oh my God, this stuff is the bomb. It is awesome. So yeah. So what was that other one that you said, Tommy? 100 Nick Cage movies. Every movie he ever made. Yeah, man. I immediately mailed you the whole box. No. So yeah.
Never says no to a part.
Vic, I have to agree with you. First Wonder Woman was fantastic.
Yes, I would
1984
agree.
Was.
They didn't tell a good
I haven't
story.
seen the second one.
They didn't tell a good story. They tried to ride the coattails of the first one, and Justice League, another abomination.
So from the cartoon, from the 70s.
No, from the movies, the live action movies.
Sorry, I blocked that one out.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa saved that one.
Well, okay, yeah. He also interestingly, I think he didn't on television. Didn't he play Conan? Didn't Jason Momoa play Conan?
I don't know.
I'm thinking he did. I think he did a short run TV show of Conan, or a TV movie. It was like a B-level movie. But Jason Momoa played Conan. So
all right, I got
somebody
one for
look it up on IMDb.
There's a movie. Oh, which one?
Batman Forever. With Val Kilmer as Batman, Jim Carrey as the Joker, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, Nicole Kidman, Chris O'Donnell.
Nicole Kidman is Dr. Meridian Chase. Thank you very much. I love the Aussie girls. I think Australia produces the most beautiful girls in the world. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I actually like that one. Chris
O'Donnell as Robin, and Drew Barrymore as Batgirl.
No. Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore was one of the two girls Alicia Silverstone. Drew Barrymore was one of the two. Two-Face had a girl in black lingerie and white lingerie.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
I stand corrected. Yeah. I stand corrected.
She was in there, but she was not Batgirl. Yep.
I like Kilmer.
It was Alicia Silverstone.
Here's the interesting thing.
I like Kilmer.
I think in the first Batman movie, Keaton did a great Bruce Wayne. In the Val Kilmer one, I think he did a great Batman, a horrible Bruce Wayne. And I think the last time they missed on all counts.
George Clooney was horrible.
George Clooney missed it on all counts.
Was that Batman and Robin?
I was thinking
with the nipples?
He would be. I was thinking he would be a good Bruce Wayne, but he wasn't. So
he wasn't good at all. And I guess we're past spoilers at this point. I guess it's allowed. The fact that he's the one that they brought back in the Flash movie recently, of all of them to put back in there. Oh, come on. No, I really did like the cast for Batman Returns. I didn't think it was bad, of course, but it didn't hold a torch to Keaton's. But I liked it.
Well, Batman Returns was Keaton, wasn't it? The second
because this was the third one. Batman Forever was the third one.
Batman Forever was the third one.
Yeah.
Right? And then Batman and Robin was the fourth one. So, yeah, it seemed to me gradually to get worse.
Yep. You've got the list there, Barb. There's one that I'm wondering if it's on there, because I specifically wanted to bring it up because I'm hoping that people will go and watch it. Is Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets on there?
No.
Okay.
But this is just comic books. This is CBR.
Okay.
Just comic book adaptations. But I've seen other lists like that reference books like The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
Was they split it out into 3 different movies, or a trilogy, and they padded it, and they added action where they're, because the real Hobbit, I mean the original Hobbit, was kind of pedantic, you know.
It was a kid's story. It was a night. J.R.R. Tolkien told it to his kids as a nighttime story, a bedtime story. So
it wasn't that exciting. It was it was just a gentle
It had
little
exciting
adventure.
parts, but it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole sequence with Gollum, and the whole riddle back and forth. That's great as a book, but how do you do that on the screen and make it fun? You know, I mean,
Yeah, they added so
that's
much
tough.
more
Yeah,
to the
the whole
movies
bit
to
in the
pad it out and
city.
make it, because the original was a gentle little adventure, you know,
And
for
they put
kids.
Legolas in it, and they added a female elf to it, which was not in the original. So yeah, it's just weird.
The Valerian one, the reason I was wondering if it was on there, that was done by a guy named Luke Besson, who he's also the one who did Leon the Professional. If you remember that movie from way back in the day, not comic related, had early Natalie Portman. I forget who Leon was, but
yeah,
he was.
You like Natalie, don't you?
Oh, it's Padme. And when I got married in May, the music that was playing, we had some friends of the family who play the cello. There were 3 cellos playing Anakin and Padme's wedding music as Amy and I were getting married. It's pretty awesome, but I digress. So Luc Besson is a French guy. He did a movie that I fell in love with called Anna, which came out right before the plague. And it didn't get much promotion because he got caught up in the Me Too movement. Although there was nothing that stuck, you know, it was only claims and fear. But there was an actress in there, a Russian young lady named Sasha Loss. And I was just like flabbergasted by her. I mean, it was her first real starring role. I just thought she was amazing. The movie was fantastic. So I'm like, let's go and see what else, you know, Luc Besson's done over the years. And one of them was called Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. And it was one of the most expensive movies of all time. Bombed badly, but it was based upon a French comic book. So it does have its roots in comics, just not American published, but that's fine. We talked about manga before. And I did not think it was bad for what it was. I had a fun time with it, you know, and it looked beautiful. It was just stunning. It wasn't anything revolutionary, but that movie should not have died the way that one did. You know, but that one goes usually on the list of worst adaptations because there are some B-C level moments there, but it's fun.
I liked it just fine.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it is such a stunningly designed and executed movie. It is fantastic.
After this is over, send me the name of that in Messenger, so I want to check it out.
Absolutely.
If both of you are recommending it, then it might be something I'd want to watch.
And here's the crazy thing.
Send me the title.
I of course I bought the Blu-ray. I recently saw it, and of course I bought it because, you know, it's me and I buy everything. The steel book version of the Blu-ray at Walmart for $5 within the last 6 months.
Wow, that's pretty.
How am I not going to do? I'm trying to look. Is it over there? Do I have another prop available? It might be there. It might be in the other room. I don't know. So, but yeah, that one I enjoyed. Let's see. With the remaining time, because we don't have too much more time. Crash and burn ones. What do we have? Ones that completely sucked. No redeeming value.
Electra.
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner was the only redeeming value on that, and she didn't even bring the redemption to that movie.
She couldn't carry it. She couldn't carry it. She couldn't carry the movie.
Nope. But I've heard something about she may return somewhere in some way with the multiverse thing now.
Well, maybe she'll redeem herself. Who knows?
Yeah.
But Daredevil. We're talking about it. Daredevil.
I kind of like Daredevil.
It was okay. It was okay. It was not crash and burn. It skidded to a halt against the wharf and kind of tore it up. But it did not crash.
You know, I'm not. What's that?
Also, Thor Ragnarok. It's horrible.
Yeah, I didn't.
Taiki Waititi, however you pronounce his name, he
Taiki
just
Waititi?
leaned into the slapstick humor to the point where it drowned the
Yeah,
movie.
I
It did
thought it
not.
had a good story hidden under all the dreck. It had a good story
Yeah,
hidden under the
he turned
dreck.
it into slapstick and made
Mhm.
made
He slathered too
Thor
much of
into a
that
fool.
onto the story. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a goofball.
yeah.
Yep,
It
Thor
could
was a
have been a
goofball.
fantastic story if you would have cut the humor by 3/4.
And if we'd had more of Hela in it.
Oh,
Oh
she
my
She
was
God,
was fantastic.
fantastic.
oh my God, she nearly saved the film. She nearly saved it. She
Yes,
was
she
incredible in
was
that film.
fantastic.
Kate Blanchett, right? Have I got
Yes.
that right, or is it okay? Kate, I did have the right name, but yeah, she nearly saved that film. And to me, she actually kind of did, but the
My
other parts
theory,
of it were
my theory is the director,
Waititi?
I can never say,
Waititi.
yeah, Waititi. He did the previous movie, and he threw in enough humor, but it didn't drown it. And he got such a fantastic response to that. He's like, if I got a fantastic
That's just
response to
true.
this, I should ratchet it up 100-fold. Yeah, that
Well, then
why
again,
mess with it?
it may not have been him. It may actually have been Disney or whoever going, "Ooh, that worked. So let's give more of that." That's
Yeah,
how that usually works. And
more is not
him not
necessarily
having
a good
a
thing.
filter probably ran with it. So yeah, I didn't care. I
Movie
didn't care
by
for it.
committee.
Yeah, well, that's how a lot of them are done.
Yeah.
But that's how most of the DC movies have been done. Although now they have one person corralling it all, so it hopefully they'll get better. We'll see. They need to put the guy that did the people that did the animated TV shows. They need to put the Paul Dini and those folks, put those on the DC films, put them on live action, and if they could do the same feel that those animated shows had, they would do it really well. But most DC movies since the first Superman have not been all that great. And do we talk about the Superman movies? Superman 4, which was an abomination.
That was the one with Solar Man, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
which I saw some scenes from it. I saw some pieces of the fight on the moon, and I went, "Oh my God, that's horrible! Bad effects, bad story, just a bad movie." So
Vic just
Vic, I
said,
haven't seen it either.
yeah, the blue.
it looked like it would be pretty good. I don't know.
And the actor that's playing Blue Beetle, Zolo, last name I can't pronounce, I apologize. I like him as an actor. He is the main lead teen in the Cobra Kai TV series from Netflix. And so he was the one that Johnny Lawrence took in to train because he was getting picked on, as a flip of the old Karate Kid. And so Johnny took him to train him. And the kid has had a great story arc. That show is just great. But yeah, I really like that actor. So and I heard recently in one of the interviews with James Gunn that he is staying through whatever revamps they do. So that makes me happy.
That's good.
I'm about 4 or 5 months behind on my movie watching, so I apologize if I haven't seen any of the newest ones.
Well, I haven't seen it yet either, but I keep up on as much as I can with reading.
Well, the trailer for Blue Beetle looked really good. It's not my Blue Beetle. It's not the original one from back in the 50s, 60s, and up into the 80s and 90s. It's the new Blue Beetle, which is actually
Jamie Reyes.
It's new old in that it doesn't use the scarab to get the power from. That's the original.
There's a scarab involved.
There's a scarab with a
scarab. There still is.
That was the original Blue Beetle. So that's going all the way back to the very first iteration of the Blue Beetle, rather than the one with the flying vehicle and all. Yeah. So the trailer looked really good. So I'm thinking, and it seemed like it focuses kind of on his family, which is so there's a story there. There's some background to the character. He's not just a cipher that's thrown into it. There's actually some some basis to the story. So it looks like it might be really good. But we'll see.
And
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say for sure. The trailer was great.
And on that note, we're going to wrap it up because I have to get out of here right at 8. I'm sorry,
that's right.
folks.
Yeah.
Time to make like a tree and get out of here, right?
The grandkids are
I
over.
going back to the future reference with Biff. He always said it wrong.
It's true.
I have the grandkids over, and I didn't want to stick hubby with them trying to give him a bath, so I got to help him out with that.
Well, everybody,
But
thank you for watching us tonight. And we appreciate that. I'm sorry that I'm late. And I know that Barb's going to have some stuff that she wants to announce about some recent things that just wrapped up.
Yes, I want to thank everybody for the recent Kickstarter, even though it wasn't one of my books or anything, but since I'm the CFO of Silverline, I always like to see a successful Kickstarter. I want to thank everybody who participated, even if it was just sharing the stuff that we post so that it gets out to a wider audience. We appreciate that. You have no idea how much we appreciate it when you
the more
share
eyeballs,
our
the better.
post.
Yep.
That's right. So thank you, everyone. And as we like to say here at the end of every show, I don't have my stuff with me, but make mine Silverline.
Good night, everyone.
My name is Ross Ritchie from Boom Studios, and make mine Silverline.